Once he started talking, he picked his intercom. Then soon after that, this guy walks in. Your colleague was here saying certain things about you, and I thought you should be here to hear it for yourself. As you can imagine, the person was fumbling. We are still celebrating workers. So let me share with you some of my experiences as a worker. Before I began to run my own business, I had worked various jobs. I'm bringing you my experience with the company with which I did my national service, Asempa Publishers. Now, I worked under two bosses at Asempa. The boss I worked under when I entered Asempa was Reverend Peter Bakker, British minister of the gospel for the Presby Church. Had fantastic time with him. He, as it were, challenged me to open my wings and fly, and I appreciated that. He threw challenge upon challenge upon challenge at me. Now, there are people who get upset when the boss is always giving them work to do and they think that the boss doesn't like them. In my case, no, I was excited by that because I realized that because he always threw all kinds of things at me, I grew and became much more established in the business of publishing. But the second boss I worked under, that is after Reverend Peter Bakker had left and returned back to England, was Reverend Emmanuel Bote, the Methodist minister. In fact, I think he became the Bishop of Accra not too long ago. Now, Reverend Bote was a very straight person. I enjoyed working with him because he was honest and frank. He won't deceive you and he won't polish anything for you. But he did something for us at Asempa. In every office, there are people who go and undermine their colleagues to their boss. There's somebody who would go and do some backbiting, undermining, and go with news to the boss, whether good or bad. Now, when Reverend Bote became the boss, somebody went to him, one of my colleagues. He didn't know that this man operated differently. He wanted to talk about somebody else. Once he started talking and Reverend Bote discovered the direction the thing was going, he picked his intercom and started dialing a number whilst encouraging the guy to continue talking. It was apparently the number of the person this guy had come to undermine. And then when the person picked the line, he said, "Oh, come to my office immediately." So the person who was giving the report stopped talking. And then Reverend Bote said, no, continue. You keep talking. Then soon after that, this guy walks in. And Reverend Bote says to the guy, "Oh, your colleague was here saying certain things about you, and I thought you should be here to hear it for yourself so you can answer for yourself." So turned to the first person and said, "Now he's here. Tell me what you were saying about him." And as you can imagine, the person was fumbling. He was stammering. He was trying to say, "Oh, no. I wasn't really saying anything about him. Then Reverend Bote drove the guy out of his office and told his colleague, you can go. Don't worry about it. Just go." Now, here's the lesson that I pick from that. If you're a boss, don't listen to everything your people come to tell you without calling the person to confirm, to cross-check. Whenever somebody comes to you with any report, with any news, anything about somebody else, call the person and confirm. Let the person know, "I have heard A, B, C, D about you. What is the truth in that?" It is even better if you can let the person come in while the report is being given to you. Unfortunately, we have this behavior in Ghana where we think I must protect my source. Because the people who come to lie about their colleagues, they often go, "Please don't let him know that I came to tell you." And if you're a boss or a colleague and you work with that, remember, you are joining him in destroying the company, destroying the harmony among you. Don't do that. So that is the lesson for the bosses. The second thing is for you, the worker. It's not your place to go and undermine anybody. It won't bring you blessings. It won't elevate you. What it does instead is that it makes the boss suspect you. The boss loses confidence in you. He loses any trust for you, because every good boss knows if you can come and spread false news about your colleagues to me, then only God knows what falsehood you are telling people about me. It is only an unwise boss who embraces the tale teller. The mature boss would put a question mark against you immediately. So let's not destroy other people. It is not our place. And remember, what you sow, you reap. So you keep sowing the backbiting and the falsehoods, you will reap it, and it will not be a nice harvest. Kindly subscribe to my channel and click on the bell button. Thank you. Now, this story that I'm going to share with you is from my days in book publishing. And I share this with you in celebration of workers so that you may learn a few things even as you serve your company and you serve your boss. I worked as head of marketing and finance with Asempa Publishers. And in those days, we published a book, a small booklet. We called it The Bible in Headlines. It was a fantastic project put together by my boss then, Reverend Peter Bakker, a British Osofo who had settled in Ghana and was doing great things. And he had put together this book, small book, but in that book, every chapter of the scriptures was summarized in one line. Every chapter, not every book. So that's why he called it The Bible in Headlines. We were so excited about the project that we did something that we had never done. In Asempa, our print run in those days, it was between 5,000 and 3,000, depending on our faith in the project. But this one, because our faith in this project was so huge, we printed 20,000 outright, because we knew this book, people will be rushing for it. It is going to be hot cake because of its simplicity, because of its usefulness. Well, the book came out and nobody would take a look at it. For 2 years, we hadn't sold more than 20 copies in 2 years. Now, remember, we had 20,000 in the warehouse. And as head of marketing and sales and finance, that was my headache. How are we going to push this? Trust me, whatever needed to be done, presenting it, going to show samples to pastors, letting them see how useful this book will be for them and for their church members, exhibitions, what have you. I get a chance to speak. I speak about this. I have the copy. The book will move. Then I go to sell books to, at that time, the biggest supermarket in Ghana, UTC, a very efficient company, very successful, at least to those of us who were not working in there. And I go to see the merchandise manager responsible, and I give him a number of books. I think that day I presented him with samples for 8 or so books. This man looks through all the samples and gets excited about only one book, The Bible in Headlines. And he picks that one. And he tells me, Mr. Whyte, I love this book. Give me 2,000 copies. I'm buying 2,000 copies. Remember, this is a book that we did and it's not selling. 2,000 copies will be huge for me. But I knew the record of the book. It hasn't sold that well. Anywhere we have supplied, it was still stuck on the shelves. So I told him, sir, thank you very much for your order. But I think I owe it to you to let you know that this book hasn't sold well anywhere. We supplied every place on sale or return terms, and the book is still on the shelf. So maybe in UTC it may do well, I don't know. Maybe it will have the same experience as the other places, I don't know. So this is what I'm going to do for you. You have given me an order for 2,000, but let me supply you 20 copies. I will monitor the movement of those 20 from the shop myself. And as soon as it runs out, I will let you know so I can bring some more. And the man sat back in his chair and looked at me as if I was crazy. He looked at me for a long time. And then he pushed my books to me, my price list to me, and said, Mr. Whyte, take your books, take your price list, and go and you yourself decide which of the books I should take, what quantities I should take, put them on an invoice, bring it to me, and then I would issue a purchasing order to you. And that is what I did. And from that day on, my relationship with this man changed. It was the biggest supermarket in Ghana at the time. And so anybody who had anything to supply went to UTC first. And so you go to his office and there are all these people with all kinds of products they want to supply. And so you could be there for a long time. But he gave his secretary an order. Whenever Mr. Whyte comes, it doesn't matter the queue here, let him come in immediately. And then I will go to his office and then he will show me a few things and said, Mr. Whyte, these guys have brought me these products. What do you think of them? You move around, you know the market. What do you think? How do you think they will do here? And together with him, we'll be working out which products I thought would go, which products I thought he should be careful of, and that kind of thing. I did much more business with that man on the back of that than if I had supplied him the 2,000. Because if I had supplied him the 2,000 copies that he requested for the Bible in headlines, knowing it would not do well, he wouldn't have bought anything else from me. But because I showed him that I'm not just interested in selling my products, I was interested in he also benefiting from his business with me. And that is how I operated with him until I left Asempa and moved on. It is not smart to cheat a customer. In business, let integrity be your hallmark. It may cost you a sale, but it will also open more doors to you. Be the kind of person who does business in a way that earns you respect and trust. When people can trust you, they will do more business with you. Be honest, be open, trustworthy. We say that in business, character matters. So don't do shoddy business. Let everybody you deal with know this person we can trust. Kindly subscribe to my channel and click on the bell button. Thank you. This story is from my book publishing days. I worked with Asempa. That's where I did my national service after the university. I was employed as a junior officer. I began in the editorial department. Now, on the same day that I reported for duty, a man who had worked in the civil service for years, for about 20 years, was also employed in the same department. So the two of us began in the editorial department on the same day. Now, the boss for Asempa then, Reverend Peter Barker, he was British and a Presbyterian minister of the gospel, wanted to give us orientation in book publishing. And so he would have interactions with us, training sessions with us. He would meet us. He would discuss everything with us. And I was fresh from the university, too known, plenty too known, and things like that. So I liked the intellectual environment. And so I would engage him, ask questions, but not just questions. I would also let him have my suggestions and what ideas I had and things like that. And he encouraged it. Then one day, the man I had been employed with told me, hey, Mr. Whyte, be careful. The way you talk with a boss is not good, though. You should remember he's the boss. But the way you approach him, the way you talk, is almost as if you think he's your colleague. You should stop that. I said, okay, I've heard you. But I didn't work with it. I felt that as long as a man opened the door for ideas, I will give him ideas. As long as he sought my opinion, he will get my opinion. As long as he created an environment in which I could express myself, I will express myself. About 2 months after we had been employed, during lunch break, the boss, Reverend Peter Barker, came to my office and said, James, come with me. And he said, I am taking you home for lunch. So we jumped into his car, and as we took off, he said, James, tell me this. Why does your colleague think he must always agree with me? Go and tell him that I don't like that. I employed you because I wanted the benefit of your input, insights, of your views. So go and tell him that he's letting me down. And I remember saying to him, Peter, because he insisted we called him, Peter, I don't think that will work, because where he comes from, bosses did not want people who speak their mind. I said, well, but this is a different environment. I said, well, it may take time for him to get that. The lesson, life is about courage. Life is about taking risk. Don't limit yourself. Don't let your past experience make you decide not to stand tall. You may have had a negative experience with a boss, but every situation you find yourself in, pay attention to the new environment and ask yourself, what is possible here? What was not possible in your former place may be possible here. But if you are holding back because you had an unpleasant experience in your previous place, then you will miss opportunities that are being offered to you here. And so, one, be courageous. Don't work with fear. Don't operate in fear. And express yourself if the environment is right. If the environment is not right, so don't lose yourself. But wait for the day when the environment is right and express yourself. And having said that, let me also speak to bosses. If you're a boss and you have people working under you, don't be threatened by their ideas. Because guess what? Whether the idea came from a subordinate or not, you are the boss. It will be in your name. So why are you threatened? Why do you fight it? Let those who work with you make you better, make you bigger. Leadership doesn't mean you have all the wisdom, you have all the knowledge. Leadership only means that you are in the position to unearth and release the potential of all those who work under you. And if you do that, then you have become a good boss. Kindly subscribe to my channel and click on the bell button. Thank you. So this has been Uncle Ebo Whyte. I've been sharing with you chapters from my working life. Remember, work with enthusiasm. Work as if you are working unto God. Excellence is its own reward. Work hard, do the best you can, because in doing that, you will be blessed. Serve with enthusiasm.